We've been guessing for a few years that the Federal Reserve would change its mind about crypto, and they just did. In the last few months, a lot of big names have been talking about and doing something about crypto. This year, one important trend that's been growing is banks' willingness to accept crypto and the race for big banks to offer crypto services. I think this will only get bigger over the next few weeks and months. It'll also be common for banks to offer crypto services. But first, let me introduce myself and welcome everyone to the show. My name is Nick, and if you're new to the channel, you'll become a subscriber by the end of this movie. Let's start by talking about some events that happened in January. It's safe to say that Powell did say that banks can fully help people who use crypto. This is what he really said. Look at the banks, and we think it's fine for banks to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can handle the risk. We didn't hear anything else about this until today, on the 16th of this month. Fed Chair Jerome Powell said that crypto is becoming more popular, that a legal framework for stablecoins is a good idea, and that bank rules on crypto will be loosened. This would have been a good place to start, but we failed. I think things are changing and people are becoming more open to this area. Congress is now looking at another framework, this time a legal one. A plan for stablecoins, it might be a good idea to know what's in this bill since there isn't one yet. Stablecoins are a digital product that could actually have a pretty wide appeal. They should have standard customer protections, and it's clear that both the Senate and the House are working on that. That's a good thing then. We were pretty strict with the rules and guidelines we gave banks, and other bank inspectors were even stricter. I think we'll be a little less strict in the future, and we'll try to do it in a way that keeps things safe while also letting and encouraging the right kind of innovation that doesn't put customers at risk in ways they don't understand. So stable coins are the most important thing here. We want to set up a system for stable coins and make sure they are safe enough for big banks and even the Federal Reserve to use. Things will start to change in a much bigger way, and it will come from well-known groups like the Federal Reserve. We also saw that the FDIC recently, the Fed announced that making it easier for banks to do crypto things was one of the best ways to get more people to use crypto. Thanks to Travis Hill and the FDIC governor, this happened on May 28th. We also got confirmation from the U.S. regulator, OCC, that banks can offer Bitcoin and crypto services like Hope for keeping things safe. This happened on May 7th, and the OC is one of the most important regulators in the U.S. On the 22nd, they said that some crypto activities are allowed, but banks that do them should make sure they have the right risk management in place. On top of that, the Federal Reserve just made one of the biggest, and that's crazy because people who hold XRP and people who make content with XRP have been talking about this for years. When is the Fed going to flip? When is the Fed going to get serious about crypto and start to accept it? It seems like every time we hear about the Fed, it's either going to announce something bad or something good. Putting crypto on their balance sheets, adopting crypto, or combining crypto. This has been going on since around 2017. The Fed got most of the attention at the time. So far, all of these releases have been looked at, but today we're mostly interested in banks that offer crypto services. It was just sent to us that the Federal Reserve has said it will no longer give banks tips on how to deal with crypto assets and dollar tokens, as well as changes to the rules they follow for these activities. Guys, this is really big. 2 million hits. It was clear that this statement was very important. Let's talk about this in more depth now. Mario Null wrote a post called "Breaking the Fed Gets Rid of Crypto Red. Banks to Try New Things and Cut Back on Red Tape." The Federal Reserve just got rid of its strict crypto rules that said banks had to get special permission before working with digital assets. This means that standard banks can now easily move into the crypto space. Thursday was a big day for the Federal Reserve. They got rid of a number of monitors. The letters from 2022 and 2023 made it hard for banks to deal with stablecoins and cryptocurrencies. The steps taken with the FDIC and the OC show that regulators' views on crypto have changed a lot. They used to be very skeptical. but now they are more open to new ideas and will support them. This is great news for financial companies that want to learn more about crypto. Chances for blockchain. What's going on here? Operation Choke Point 2 was something I wrote about for weeks in 2023 because it was so important. It's all being shut down now, which is very important with all the attention on banks getting the go ahead. This is a very big deal that lets trillions of dollars flow into this. There are now going to be a lot of users and big institutional players in this area. This is big news, and we have the full report from the government website right here. The Federal Reserve Board says it is changing what it expects from crypto assets and dollar tokens, as well as taking back its advice to banks on how to handle them. They start to break that down into steps that help the banking system be more innovative and make sure that the board's rules keep up with changes in risk. The board is removing the part of its 2022 monitoring letter that said state member banks should let the board know ahead of time about any planned or ongoing crypto asset operations. This means that the board will no longer ask banks for notice. Instead, they will use the regular checks and balances process to keep an eye on how banks handle crypto assets. The 2023 supervisory letter explains how state member banks can take part in dollar token activities without the supervisory body objecting. Finally, the board and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, the Office of the Currency OC, pulling back from two comments made by federal bank regulatory bodies in 2023 about the activities of banks and the risks that come with crypto assets. The board will talk to the agencies to find out if they need to make more rules to encourage new ideas. These rules could include acts involving crypto assets. This is huge. What do you know about the message? He also sent us from Trump Media to start ETFs with Crypto.com that are the first in the United States on the 22nd. It's crazy to think that all of these big changes happened so quickly. The FDIC was in May or March, and the OC's first report came out not long ago. The Fed made big announcements in March and will again in April. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the Fed and the FOMC meeting in May. Because of this, I think things are about to get very, very strong for crypto. We still need to do one more thing with the Fed. Eleanor Tourette wrote about this as well. She said that the Federal Reserve has taken back 95% of its. One more thing that needs to be done. This is really from Caitlin Long. I just realized that the Federal Reserve didn't take back its anti-crypto advice from January 27, 2023, which was approved by a vote of 7-0. But it seems to have taken back all of its other advice without a board vote. This makes me think that the Fed still hasn't followed Trump's orders, so its anti-crypto advice is still in effect. This means that banks controlled by the Fed are at the disadvantage when it comes to stable coins and other things compared to banks regulated by the OC or FDIC. This will change when the stablecoin bill comes along, but the fight isn't over yet. Yes, the Fed board's made up of 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats. This may be why they didn't vote to get rid of the advice from January 27, 2023.